Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell, I'm very excited to finally be doing this video. Of course, aside the excitement, guys, this is a special thank you to all the creators that shared their experience with this whole thing, because I cannot count. I was checking my watch later playlist in my phones, and almost all the videos there as at that time was Canada this, Canada that, permanent residency, because sometimes you need to hear other people's experiences to know, okay, what next, what to expect and all. So with how much content I consumed, I just felt like it would be so selfish of me not to also come back and share my experience, just in case there is someone that is watching and also wants to do this process, especially for those maybe who want to do it from Japan or just something, it's not really a popular route. Most people I watched, they did from Nigeria to Canada or some other country to Canada, but very few content. I think I've not even seen anybody that said did from Japan to Canada, right? So just in case you're watching me and it's something you're considering, which is the permanent residency route, I really hope this video helps you. So what this video is going to do is just to give you a summary of everything that we did, how we went about the process and the timelines. And to be honest, if you've watched the vlog, was by now I think the vlog should be up, that showed the entire process. If you watched it judiciously, you already know how long it took, the timeline and everything, because I was very intentional when I put the timestamps and mentioned the dates in that video, because I know firsthand how that information helped me too when I was also in my process. I know some people don't have that patience to be following vlog and be keeping that in mind, so that's why I'm doing this other video where I'll just summarize everything and just tell you how we got ourselves to this point of being a permanent residency in Canada. Now, in case you're watching me and you're wondering who is this girl that just been talking, guys, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chioma, aka Chilo. I'm a Nigerian who, at the time you're watching this video, I can now say who used to be living and studying in Japan and has now permanently moved to Canada through the Federal Skilled Worker Permanent Residency route. So that's what this video is about. Okay, all right, let's get right into this video. Get very comfortable. Okay, so just for context sake, right, from before I even met my husband, on his own end, he was already doing things to move to Canada and US. On my own end too, after coming to Japan, and I kind of knew that okay, I might not stay here permanently, I already started things, plans about US, Canada especially. So this is just to say that as two individuals, before we even met, we kind of already saw ourselves, moving to this country. So when we finally met in 2019, it was so easy for us to have that conversation of what's the plan, what next, what are we looking at doing. So what the good thing about this kind of thing was that on his own end, he was doing a lot of research even before we got married. He had watched videos, he even had family, friends, acquaintances that he had been asking questions. On my own end too, guys, I watched so many videos, I read blogs. In short, if I just see that you migrated, I've already bookmarked it, your page. I've done I followed so many pages. So information wise, we already were gathering up a lot of information, right? We told ourselves that okay, good and fine, after marriage we will start the process, because I got married September 2022 and October 1st 2022 was when I entered my final year of PhD. So somewhere in my head I'm like, what next, after PhD, like what next? So that was like the okay, this is going to be the what next, because it's a new chapter. From November, I can't forget, my husband started saying, babe, we need to start this process, because from all the research we had done, almost everybody kept saying you have to give it at least 1 year for the process. And if as at November 2022 I was hopeful to graduate September 2023, so that was already less than 1 year. I was a bit reluctant because in my head I think I was scared, honestly. But one particular day like this, I remember it was a Sunday, my husband was like, you know what, stand up, we stay in this room always gisting, we're not going to do this thing. And then we came up, opened laptop and started. So the first thing we had to do, so I would say the actual process of having the conversation again and starting to do investigation started November 2022. So that particular day we had to like talk, because now we now found out that because we had read so much, watched so many videos, we now had information overload. Some people's suggestions were even clashing, some ideas were clashing, someone would say this one, that person said that. So it was a lot. The first thing we had to do that day especially was we had to even decide which particular of all these things that we have consumed is going to be a reference point for us to use together in this process, always refer to it, and also so that we are not clashing ideas. And it was Omobi blog, guys. I don't know that lady, but whoever she is, God really bless her. Her blog is literally one of the most detailed things you would have out there about this process. I'm going to link it below. It's not a sponsored video or anything. It's a free website that she put her heart and soul to it. Like, why I liked it was that it was so step by step that even if you don't know anything, it will guide you. And then the links were clickable links that take you straight to IRCC. So like, none of the links are broken, even though it's been several years since she did that blog. Like, it was so detailed. So that was like our reference point that day. Now, while on that research that night too, we also calculated our CRS score, and I think we were within the 480 something 490 something range. So that kind of gave us an idea of what to target as it regards our TOEFL, as it regards our IELTS. As you know, it's a points-based system, so many things add up to it. You know, your IELTS or your proficiency, for those who write French, you know, the French own, your just language proficiency, your education, the degree, your work experience, so many things, you know, they add everything and give you a point. So from the tentative score we had put, according to how she advised, you know, on her blog, we were within the 480 something of thing, 490 something, if I'm not mistaken, range. So that gave us an idea of what to target as regards, you know, the effort to put in our IELTS. That same night, guys, we created West profile, you know, for the whole West evaluation for our transcript for our highest degree. So as of that time, both of us, our highest degree is masters, or was masters. So my highest degree was masters, and my own, I did it in Japan, but my husband's masters was in Nigeria. So that means we had to, you know, evaluate it and all as required. That night also we paid for IELTS. Yes, now one thing that we had agreed, both of us, was that we wanted paper-based IELTS. You know what works best for you, so stick with it. For me, I had written, at that time, I had written TOEFL, I had written GRE, I had written some exams, and I noticed that with computer-based exam, I might start with so much ginger. After a while, my eyes just get tired of scrolling up, scrolling down, blue light wahala. So I prefer paper. I think I do best with paper-based exams. So my husband too said he prefers paper. So most of the paper centers we saw was in Tokyo. We finally now settled for January of 2023, first week of January. So we're like, okay, that will give us time to prepare and read, to target and aim that score, because we wanted to write the exam once and for all. Because that transport to Tokyo with Shinkansen, we paid for hotel, paid for feeding, paid for this. That was even that vlog that I did, night out in Tokyo, population, Shinkansen tour. It was that IELTS period, you know. So we're like, we have to do this thing once and for all and give it our best shot. So those are the 3 major things we did that night, or 4 things. Then the next thing I did was in December 2022, I applied for my transcript from my university here, because I'm still, by the time you are seeing this video, I possibly might be in Canada, but at the time I'm making this video, I'm still in Japan, right? But our flight is less than 2 months away. So I applied for my transcript, and because I did my master's in Japan, it was so quick, it was so easy. I think it reached West in less than, not even up to a week, and then West sent the evaluated own in about 1 week. It was so fast. My husband's own that was supposed to go from Nigeria, he started making his phone calls even way earlier. My own, it was in December 2022. I went to the student support section, told them what I needed. They asked me how I wanted to go. If you have specific requirements, I wrote it down, showed them some pictures. I still went back, sent email with screenshots of everything I had gathered so far of how it must be sent to where, so that they don't send the documents back, that kind of thing. So in December, I think that same December, my my transcript reached West, and West had evaluated it. Then January, so within November till January, we were actually actively reading for the IELTS. First week of January, we went to Tokyo, and then we wrote the IELTS exam. So we wrote it together on the same day, because we wanted to just be doing things together so that we are sure that nobody is dragging anybody behind. We wrote it that day, and then they told us on the exam day that we should expect the result on the 20th, I remember, of January. As you guys know from that vlog, my result was seized, I'll be withheld. That's their English. So my own did not come out 20th. My husband's own came out on the 20th. So my own came out was it last week of March? Around last week of March, that was when my own result came out. So we could not enter the pool, we did not do anything again. So from January till March, we were kind of stuck. But looking back now, I think it's a good kind of stuck, because as at the time, that January 20th, when our IELTS came out, my husband's transcript had not yet even been sent to West. So even if I had my my IELTS, we wouldn't have even entered the pool still, because my husband's West would not have been ready. So within that time of waiting for my IELTS was also when his West evaluation was completed. So it was kind of a balanced waiting period and all. And in case you're wondering, I know some people enter with what they have and then start to maximize it in the pool. Honestly, we wanted to just enter strong. I'm not an immigration expert. I'm not working for IRCC. These disclaimers are always very important. I'm not an immigration expert or anything, right? Fast forward to ending of March, my results got released, and at this time my husband's West was ready, my West was ready, everything was now ready. We kind of knew the knock code we were going for. I knew my knock code, my husband knew his knock code. So my IELTS came out ending March. I cannot forget, it was a Friday. On Saturday, my husband was like, "Baby, let's enter this pool. Let's enter this pool." And I'm like, what's the rush about? So he said that from his research, there was going to be a draw going on in the next 2 days, that he really wanted us to be in that pool before that draw. In my head, I'm like, there will be other draws. Why must we be in the pool for this? Or why are you rushing it? He was like, no, we really need to be in that pool. So we entered the pool, I remember, same ending of March. And in Canada time, Japan is several hours ahead of Canada, possibly 17 hours, so for 16 hours is a lot of hours. So in Canadian time, in their time zone, in the next 24 hours, we woke up to an email that said that something had changed in our profile. And so apparently it was the ITA that had come. So we were invited to apply same ending of March. Everything happened that ending of March. Like when you say time was compressed into seconds, it happened for us, right? Now it's important to add here that I was the primary applicant in this application process. In the point system, to the things that they count is age and everything, right? So I'm younger than my husband, so it kind of made sense that I would be the primary applicant so that we can maximize the point system, with the whole thing. So yeah, I remember my husband was not even in town that day. He called Japan time the next day after we entered the pool. That, how far? Have you checked your email? Anything? I said there's nothing. We both had the password to the profile, but for email, definitely it was my email they were sending notifications to. So we had checked the profile, like the website, nothing had changed. Like the next day Japan time, and then I didn't see anything again. So it was now when I woke up the next day again, which was like 24 hours Canadian time. That was when I now saw that we had gotten the invitation to apply. And our CRS score, so this was ending March 2023, our CRS score, the score that was caught was, they caught 484, I think, and our score was 486. If I made any mistake, I'm going to correct it and put it on the screen. So that was ending March. Now, of course, when they send you that email, they also send you a prompt and the things that they expect you to do next. So what they said was they are going to give us 60 days to accept or decline the offer, the invitation to apply. So you have to submit all the things you claimed you are that made you get 486. It's now time to submit everything, because before You're just imputing. They give you a score, you enter. But now it's time to prove. You say you have how many years work experience? Come and prove. You say you're a good person, bring police character. You say you have this one, bring proof of funds, that kind of thing. So it was literally 60 days to gather all the documents. So this started reading from ending March. So I think our deadline was supposed to be middle May or ending of May, thereabouts. But the problem was I was supposed to be in America from April 18th. I can't forget, from April 18th to May 18th I was in the US. So that means 1 month was already taken from our 60 days because we were going to be apart. So guys, we entered marathon season that period. We wanted to gather almost everything, if possible, within the first 30 days that I was still in Japan. Things like police character certificates, proof of funds, reference letter from your employers, what again, your marriage certificate if you said you're married, your medicals, literally just everything. So we kind of shared it because we needed to maximize much. My husband was in charge of some things. I remember, funny enough, I still don't know how he was able to get that police character from Nigeria, because for police character you have to bring from all the countries you have stayed more than 6 months, and for both of us we had stayed more than 6 months in Nigeria and more than 6 months in Japan. So Japan own was very straightforward. We just went to the police, these people, we told them, we thumbprinted the way they thumbprinted our hand that day, so that they will know if we had any criminal record, and then they told us that we would expect they would send it to us. We paid how much again? Then they will send it to us in the next how many days or weeks. So I remember I had traveled, so they sent it home. My husband received it for both of us. But the only thing that was a challenge, the major thing that was a challenge, was the medicals. Because with the medicals, the accredited or the hospitals, because they tell you the hospitals that you can do. So in Japan, the major hospitals that they said we can do that medicals is in Tokyo, is in Osaka. We don't live in any of those cities, right? So the plan was, okay, let's see if we can get an appointment in Tokyo. Guys, we checked and checked. There was no appointment before May 18th. April 18th, when I would be traveling, because we wanted to do everything together now. So that was not a challenge. We called and called. They were like, no, they don't have appointment before April 18th. The appointment they had was April 19th, April 20th, just few days after I would have left for US. So we now agreed that my husband did his usual research. Actually, I was so scared, and then he said you can do your medicals anywhere you are, even if it's not your country of residence, as long as it's in the permitted hospitals that IRCC told you. So what happened was, he did his medicals in Japan. He used those people that said they had April 20th or so. He used them. Then I did my own in New York. And the second option we had was, okay, should we wait till I come back after May 18th and do it in Japan? But the problem is that medicals take more than 2 weeks for it to come out. So that means it will delay us, and our 60 days would have elapsed May ending. Yes, we have elapsed May ending. Even though IRCC say you can submit the slip that showed you have done it, even though the result is not out or sent to them. But we wanted to just be on point. So I decided I would do it in New York. And that was that video where that boss disappointed me. I told you guys I was going for an appointment. I had to make the appointment. The doctor suggested, or they authorized, the doctor was in the main New York City, and I was staying in Binghamton. I did it on time. I reached April 18th. I did it that same April because I wanted to still be in US when the result will be out, so that in case there's any challenge, I can call the hospital and say what's going on, not when I am already quarter to leave and everything is now chaotic. So yes, our medicals were in 2 different places. My husband did his medicals in Japan, and I did my medicals in US. So by the time I was coming back to Japan, I came back May 18th, and our deadline was supposed to elapse May ending, May 20 something. We already had almost everything. We had everything: medicals, reference letter from employers. We had police character. Japan own had come, Nigeria own had come. We had everything. So the only thing now we had to do between when I landed, after I landed, and our deadline was anyone that need letter of LOE. Hey, LOE was plenty, letter of explanation. For example, I attached LOE for my medicals because where I don't know, I just prefer, and I learned this thing from Tolulope Solutions. She said it's better to over explain than for your process to be delayed just because of any little miscommunication. And I think it's true. So in my head, I'm like, anything that I feel like this is a possible question that a third party might not understand, I do LOE. For example, with the medicals, now that I know that I did my medicals in a different country from where I said I live, I did LOE, explaining to them why I was in the US. I attached my visa, I attached the reason I was there, my letter from the university, the letter showing what I was doing there. I attached everything that proved that I was legitimately in the US, and that's the reason I did my medicals there. I even had told them that I was, the whole thing just did not work out with the Japan hospital. I attached everything. Then when it comes to my passport pages, at the time we were filling the forms, I had not yet traveled to Singapore and US. So I exempted those two countries. You cannot put a future date in that question that they asked, countries visited in the last how many years. So I had to now add LOE, saying that after submitting, I have been to 2 more countries. I've been to Singapore, I've been to US, attached visa, attached the reasons, attached. My LOE was so explanatory. We also attached LOE for proof of funds. That one I learned it from someone else's YouTube video, that if your proof of fund is in another currency, let's say if you're Nigerian, it's in Nigerian currency, if you're Japanese, it's in Japanese yen, or this, do the math for them, tabulate it, put it in a table, convert it to Canadian dollars. This is what you expect for a family of 2. This is what, if you convert it, this is what we have, and if possible, this is what is in excess according to the conversion rate of, put the link of what you used to do the conversion. Shall explain all the things you can explain. Don't leave anything to chance. So yeah, let's say we submitted everything. We were within the 60 days, submitted it ending of May. When you submit, you have to pay to the registration fee and something. So we submitted and paid for everything ending of May. Fast forward to June, mid-June. I woke up that night, I think I was not even sleeping, and then I saw an email that said something had changed again. So they requested for our biometrics middle of June 2023. But that time, they gave us 30 days, and the VFS is also in Tokyo. So they gave us from mid-June, I think, till maybe like mid-July. But I had my pre-defense. My pre-defense was slated for, is it June or so? So we did not go like immediately the email came, because I was like, I need to keep my head well. I need not to keep my head, I need to concentrate on my pre-defense. So after my pre-defense, then we went to Tokyo and we dropped our biometrics. So July of 2023, we went and did the biometrics, and we were within the 30 days deadline that they gave us. And then the wait started, because with the way things were happening, the whole thing was going with speed, which is what we prayed for and ease. I was thinking that because from all the videos I had watched, everybody said they need to ask you for biometrics. OT law, forget about it. Your visa is the next thing. They will soon send you request for passport. I started waiting. July finished, August finished, September first week, second week, third week. At that time, my mom even came for my graduation, and I was like, God, now I thought you would give me this graduation gift. It didn't come till ending of September 2023 that we got the golden email and the golden request for our request for passport, that we should bring the passport to Tokyo, and we gave us 30 days deadline too. So we submitted. Actually, this one also had a little comma, because my husband at the time was slated to travel to Germany November of 2023, I think first week or second week of November. So he had already booked a German visa appointment. That email came ending September. That means our deadline was ending October. He had an appointment in the German embassy somewhere in October. So we're wondering, is it possible to drop his passport and then get it back in time to meet up with the German appointment? But the people at IRCC said they don't give that assurance and they cannot promise anything. So it was too risky for him to drop his passport when he already had an appointment in the German embassy. So I dropped my passport first. They even suggested that maybe he should submit it in Germany, that actually you can submit it anywhere you are as long as it's the VFS. But the problem is the Germany trip was just for 1 week, and if you submit your passport now and then afterwards you're there for, you now have to wait, you now be stuck. So it was just a very dicey situation. Finally, somewhere in October, I think middle thereabout, my husband's passport came back from the German embassy so fast. I mean, it was a sponsored trip, right? And I remember that night he was just like, should he double this thing and send to Canada? Because we were now scared of, even though we had written to IRCC begging them to give us extension from 30 days to 60 days, explain his situation, he had a trip, attached everything as evidence. We had not gotten a feedback from them, so we did not know if it was a yes or a no. Their silence was deafening. And at the time, I forgot to say, my own had come back. My own stayed for like, let's say 11 days. So he was like, should he not? Should he not? Finally, my husband shall have faith. He stood up that day and said he's going to Tokyo. Went to Tokyo and submitted his passport. My fear now was that his flight to Germany was first week of November, Yes, and I'm like, what if this Canada thing doesn't come before your trip? So after having a visa, flight, everything has been booked for you, hotel, you will now miss the trip. But we just had a very strong faith, and we were scared of not beating the 30 days deadline. So finally, the visa was approved, and it came back that November that he was supposed to travel at the nick in time. But yeah, so it's safe to say that we got the visa October, November. My own October, his own November. So now, based on everything I have said, if you want to calculate how long it took for the entire process, we actually entered the pool in March ending. So if you calculate it, it's going to be April, May, June, July, August, September. That's when they asked for our passport. That's about 6 months was what it took for the entire process to be done. And it's important to add that the processing office here is Manila, Philippines. That's where they process the visa in Asian region, is Manila, even though the VFS office in Tokyo. So they will send the passport from Tokyo to their main embassy that is in Manila, that will now put the passport. So yeah, I think it's safe to say it took 6 months, the entire process, to be rounded up. But for us to get the ITA, Canadian time zone, it took 24 hours. God is good. Genuinely, God is good. That remains one of our top and most mind-blowing and mouth-opening testimony of 2023, because 2023 was a good year. It was a good year, that's the truth. But definitely, I'm going to say the God factor played out so much in our process. That's the truth. And then I started applying for jobs, and then we booked our flight. Yes, guys, this is the entire process of what it took for the permanent residency. I really hope that this video in combination with blog would be very helpful. Another thing I wanted to add is for the IELTS, guys, I really studied, but I'm grateful for first of all, I got the textbook from the library, and my husband had this IELTS software materials on his laptop. But in addition, there were some YouTube videos or YouTube channels that were very helpful. J of E2, is it E2 IELTS or something? And it was actually Tolu Lokpe's video. That's why I say, guys, I watched these videos, and I'm glad I really consumed a lot of content about this whole PR thing. We studied using that guy's channel. I think there were 2 people's channel, but I really just liked Jay's teaching. It was very, very easy for me to grasp, especially for the aspects or the areas that I felt I was struggling. So yeah, it's a point system. You have to find a way to maximize everything. You know, everything is just a point. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. And like I said, I'm not an immigration expert and everything. We did it ourselves. We didn't use anybody or any agent, right? And once again, guys, if you want a step-by-step, maybe if you think that you want something more like written, I'll actually recommend Omobi blog. It helped offline. I can't count the number of people I have sent that woman's blog to. Like, I can't count it. If she can check her share button, she will know that there's this Choma in Japan that has been sharing her blog, because I'm just like, it's too good to keep to myself. I cannot be gatekeeping that thing. I just share to a lot of people that I know that are interested in the process and want to know how it works. So I'll link it below. Thank you once again for watching, and see you next time on Chilo Talks. Bye for now, guys.